The execution cart rolled past Sarah's window at dawn. She didn't look. She'd learned years ago not to watch the bodies being hauled away. The wolves who'd failed to find mates at the previous night's ball. The Empire didn't waste time with burials. Defective genetics went to the incinerators, and those who are 23 plus without mates are not worthy. By tonight, she'd be in one of those carts. She belonged to both. Her borrowed gown hung wrong on her frame, too loose in some places, too tight in others. Nothing fit right when your body was built broken. The clock showed 6 hours until the mating ball began. 18 hours until unmated wolves faced the executioners. The old injury on her leg never let her forget what she was: defective, flawed. Unworthy of passing on her genetics in an empire obsessed with perfection. The blackouts made it worse. Sometimes when she tried to shift, her wolf emerged smoothly. Sometimes nothing happened at all. And sometimes she blacked out entirely, waking hours later with blood under her fingernails and gaps in her memory she couldn't explain. The rumors said she'd killed during those blackouts, that her fractured wolf made her dangerous. No one wanted a dangerous mate. No one wanted a broken one either. The ballroom blazed with crystal and desperation when Sarah arrived. Hundreds of wolves dressed in their finest, all hunting for a mate before midnight. The air reeked of expensive perfume trying to mask the stench of fear. Sarah limped through the entrance. Eyes slid over her and away, they dismissing her in seconds. A male approached, his lip curling before he even reached her. Eastern sector? Not a question, an accusation. He walked away without waiting for an answer. The rejections came faster after that. One glance at her leg, and they moved on. By the 10th rejection, Sarah's throat burned. By the 20th, she'd stopped hoping. The clock crept toward 11:30. Around her, couples formed and claimed, the mate bond snapping into place for the lucky ones, their eyes glazing with recognition. Sarah watched it happen again and again, each successful pairing reminding her that by dawn, she'd be Ash. Sarah. Adrian. They'd grown up in the same sector, worked in the same factories. His expression held something worse than rejection. Pity. You should leave, he said quietly. Run. Maybe you'll make it far enough before they always find runners. Her voice came out flat. You know that. His eyes dropped to her leg. I know, but this is... He trailed off. You had to know no one would choose a mate who can't even shift properly. The blackouts. Everyone knew about the blackouts. I know, Sarah whispered. Adrian's pity deepened. Then his expression shifted, hardened. He stepped back, and his voice rose loud enough to carry. Actually, everyone should know exactly why you're here. Sarah's stomach dropped. Look at her, Adrian announced. Nearby wolves turned, conversations dying. The cripple thinks she deserves a mate, that someone will overlook the twisted leg, the blackouts, the rumors she killed her own family. The room tilted. Sarah couldn't breathe. She's defective, Adrian continued, warming to his audience. More wolves stopped to watch. Her wolf is broken. Her body is broken. The Empire is right to cull creatures like her. It's pathetic watching her stand here, hoping for something that will never... The temperature dropped. Every wolf felt it simultaneously. Alpha pressure so powerful, it forced submission from anyone with weaker blood. 2 alpha presences, crashing through the ballroom like a tidal wave. The entrance doors slammed open. Twin kings, Kade and Kade Blackthorn, rulers of the Empire, legendary warriors who weren't supposed to be here. They wore black combat gear still wet with blood, not ceremonial dress. They'd come straight from killing something. The ballroom fell silent. Both kings moved through the crowd, wolves scrambling from their path. Identical faces, identical lethal grace, identical golden eyes scanning the room with predatory focus. Those eyes locked onto Sarah. Everything stopped. The kings changed direction instantly, cutting through the crowd with sudden urgency, heading straight for her. Sarah's damaged leg nearly buckled as she tried to retreat, but the wall blocked her escape. They stopped inches away. Up close, they were devastating. Power radiated from them in waves that made Sarah's broken wolf whimper in submission, and something else, something that felt like recognition. Kai reached out, his hand moving toward her face. Sarah flinched. His fingers touched her cheek with shocking gentleness. The mate bond exploded. Lightning slammed through Sarah's body. Not pain, power. The bond snapping into place with such force her knees buckled. Kai caught her instantly, one arm wrapping around her waist, crushing her against his chest. The bond flared hotter, and his sharp inhale rumbled through her. "Ours," Kai growled. Kade moved closer, caging her between them. His hand rose to her hair, eyes blazing gold. "We found you." The bond pulsed as Kade's fingers threaded through her hair. Three-way mate bond. Rare, legendary, thrumming between them with possession and hunger. Sarah couldn't think, couldn't breathe. The bond sang, demanding she submit. "She's defective!" Adrian's voice shattered the moment. He stood nearby, face twisted with confusion and rage. "You can't! She's broken! Her wolf is—" Kai moved. 1 second he held Sarah. The next, Adrian was screaming on the ground. His arm bent wrong. Kai stood over him, boot on his chest, eyes never leaving Sarah's face. "She's ours," Kai said, his voice carrying through the silent room. "Our mate. Our queen." He pressed down. Adrian's screams intensified. Anyone who touched her dies. Anyone who insulted her begs for death. Kade cupped Sarah's face, tilting her head up, forcing her gaze to his. His touch was gentle, reverent, completely opposite the violence happening feet away. "Look at us, not him," Kade murmured, thumb stroking her cheek. "You'll never look at another male again. Never think of one. You're ours now." The bond pulled, demanding acceptance. Kai returned, leaving Adrian whimpering. He shrugged out of his coat and wrapped it around Sarah's shoulders. The heavy fabric swallowed her, his scent marking her for everyone to see. She's our mate," Kai announced to the room, arms sliding possessively around her waist. "Our queen. Touch her, speak to her, think about her. You answer to us." Wolves dropped to their knees under the weight of the alpha command. Adrian tried to stand. Kai's head turned toward him. "She's broken!" Adrian gasped, cradling his arm. "You don't understand. She blacks out. She's—" Bone cracked. Adrian's scream cut off as he fainted. Kai had moved too fast to track, and now Adrian's other arm hung useless. "We know exactly what she is," Kai said softly, dangerously. His eyes stayed on Sarah. "We've been tracking her for months, searching, waiting." Kade leaned down, lips brushing Sarah's ear. "We've been looking for you so long." His voice roughened with emotion. "You're never leaving our sight again. Never alone. Never unwanted." Sarah's vision blurred. Shock and the bond and the violent shift from deathbound to claimed overwhelmed her. Her damaged leg gave out. Both kings caught her. Kai swept her into his arms while Kade's hand settled possessively on her hip. "She's overwhelmed," Kade said, fingers tracing gentle patterns. "We need to leave." Agreed. Kai adjusted his hold, cradling her protectively. "Clear the path." Kade moved ahead. Wolves scattered. Those too slow got shoved aside. Kai followed, carrying Sarah like she weighed nothing. Her head rested against Kai's shoulder, the bond singing approval. Over his shoulder she glimpsed the ballroom one last time. Adrian unconscious in blood. Wolves frozen in shock. The clock showing 11:58. 2 minutes before midnight. 2 minutes before execution. Instead, she was being carried by kings who'd broken a man without hesitation for insulting her, whose bond wrapped around her like lightning chains. "Where are you taking me?" Sarah whispered. Kai's arms tightened. "Home, our home, where you belong." Kade glanced back, eyes molten. "Where we can keep you safe, protected." His smile sharpened. "Where no one ever hurts you again." The doors closed behind them. Sarah had entered expecting death. She left claimed by monsters who called her theirs, whose bond demanded acknowledgement of what she'd become in minutes. Not executed, not free, theirs. That single word terrified her as much as the way her broken wolf purred in satisfaction, finally whole for the first time in her life. But the bond's warmth couldn't erase the ice forming in her gut. These kings knew what she was. They'd been tracking her, searching for her specifically. Why? But we won't let it consume you. We're going to find a way for you and the entity to coexist, to share control. Why would you care? Sarah's voice broke. You don't even know me. The bond is just... Just? Kai's thumb stroked her cheekbone. The bond is everything. It chose you for us. Chose us for you. Do you think we'd defy that? Ignore it? Kade's hand slid from her shoulder down her arm, his touch burning. We've been searching for a vessel for months, following rumors, tracking leads. When we finally found you, we were supposed to extract you, train you, weaponize the sovereign inside you. But the moment I saw you, Kai continued, his forehead pressing against hers, standing in that ballroom waiting to die, something in me broke. Before the bond even formed, I knew you were mine to protect, mine to keep. Ours, Kade corrected, his lips brushing her temple. The bond just confirmed what we already felt. Sarah's hands came up to grip Kai's wrists, needing something to anchor her. You're saying I have a god inside me, that I'm going to be possessed, that you need me as a weapon. Her voice shook. How is that better than execution? Alarms shrieked through the fortress. All three of them froze. The bond pulsed with sudden violent urgency. Kai released Sarah and spun toward the door. Kade was already moving, grabbing weapons from hidden panels in the walls. What's happening? Sarah's damaged leg barely held her weight as she stood. Breach! Kai's voice went cold, lethal. Beneath entities. Level 4. A voice crackled through hidden speakers. Multiple hostiles. They're heading for the king's wing. They're here for the vessel. Sarah's blood turned to ice. They're here for me? Kade pressed a blade into her hand, his eyes blazing. Stay behind us. Don't leave our sight. The doors exploded inward. Things poured through, twisted, wrong creatures that hurt to look at. Demons with too many limbs and eyes that wept acid. Corrupted wolves with flesh that sloughed off rotting bones. Entities that defied description, their forms shifting and wrong. They all focused on Sarah with hungry, terrible intelligence. Kai and Kade moved as one, becoming blurs of violence. Blood sprayed, demons screamed. The kings fought with brutal efficiency, their wolves emerging in partial shifts that showed the demon blood running through their veins. But there were too many. A demon broke through their defense, lunging straight for Sarah. Her damaged leg gave out. She hit the floor hard, the blade skittering from her grip. The demon's claws descended toward her throat. Then the seal shattered. Pain unlike anything Sarah had ever known exploded through her leg. The suppression runes broke with sounds like shattering glass, and something vast and ancient surged up from the depths of her soul. The sovereign emerged. Sarah was conscious, trapped in her own mind, screaming silently as an entity older than civilization seized control of her body. Her hand shot up, catching the demon's throat mid-lunge. Power flowed through her, dark and terrible and absolutely unstoppable. The demon disintegrated, simply ceased to exist, reduced to ash by whatever the sovereign channeled through her. More demons rushed forward. The sovereign used Sarah's body to slaughter them. No weapon, no claws, just raw power that unmade everything it touched. Within seconds, every demon in the room was ash. Then the sovereign turned its attention to the kings. Sarah felt it studying Kai and Kade through her eyes, felt its curiosity and hunger. It recognized the mate bond, could sense the demon blood in their veins. Kai and Kade stood frozen, weapons ready, but not attacking. They stared at Sarah's body with expressions caught between awe and terror. The sovereign spoke using Sarah's voice, but the words came out layered, ancient, wrong. The little wolf thinks she's broken, amusing. Inside her own mind, Sarah fought, clawed, screamed at the entity to release her. The sovereign laughed. She fights me even now, brave, foolish, I could consume her entirely, take this flesh permanently. No. Kai's voice cracked with desperation. We had a deal. We need you both, her and the Sovereign. You need me, the entity corrected. The wolf is merely the cage you wish to keep me in. Kade stepped forward, and Sarah felt the Sovereign tense. She's our mate. Hurt her. Consume her. And we'll find a way to destroy you even if it kills us all. The Sovereign considered this. Then, impossibly, it withdrew. Control slammed back into Sarah's body so suddenly she collapsed. Her damaged leg, no, her transformed leg, buckled differently now. The seal was gone, the suppression broken, and the limb that had caused her a lifetime of pain now burned with power instead of agony. Both kings caught her before she hit the ground. Sarah. Kai's hands framed her face desperately. Are you still you? Can you hear me? She could. But she could also hear the Sovereign's voice in her mind now, a constant presence where before there had been only her fractured wolf. I'm here, Sarah gasped. It's still inside, but I'm... Kade pulled her against his chest, his arms crushing her. You survived sharing space with it. That's never happened before. More alarms shrieked. Footsteps thundered in the corridors outside, but Sarah barely heard them. She stared at her leg, the leg that had defined her entire life as broken and worthless. The man whose skin shimmered faintly like crystal inclined his head. Marcus. Been here a while. His gaze lingered briefly, assessing. Never seen the kings bring anyone here like this. Careful, Kade said mildly. Marcus raised his hands in surrender. Noted. A woman with pale, sightless eyes smiled warmly. Lyra. I see things others don't. Her expression softened toward Sarah. You've been standing in my visions for months, between fire and shadow. Sarah swallowed. The third figure flickered slightly at the edges, as if struggling to remain solid. Dr. Thorne, he said, dimensional instability. His interest was clinical. You're the vessel. Her appetite vanished. No secrets here, Kai said, pulling out a chair for her. We're all dangerous in different ways. The kings took seats beside her, not at the head of the table. Marcus exhaled slowly. So the Sovereign really is waking. They came for her before it fully did, Kade confirmed. Lyra's head tilted. Can she withstand it? Kai covered Sarah's hands with his own. She already has. Thorne's gaze sharpened. Or it's testing her. The air shifted, heavy, warning. That's enough, Kade said quietly. Breakfast passed in tense quiet. When Kai rose and offered his hand, Sarah accepted without hesitation. The training grounds lay deep within the fortress. Reinforced stone, arcane barriers, a place built to withstand devastation. We begin with control, Kai said, positioning himself behind her, adjusting her stance with careful hands. The Sovereign responds to emotion. Kade circled them. Your leg, how does it feel? Different, she admitted. Stronger. It's your anchor now, Kade said, resting a steadying hand against it. Learn to use it. Close your eyes, Kai instructed. Acknowledge the Sovereign. Don't resist. Don't surrender. Sarah obeyed. The Sovereign stirred. Power flooded her senses, controlled but immense. Her eyes opened, light reflecting in them, not fully her own. Good, Kade murmured. Hold it there. She did, breathing hard, balancing on the edge of something vast. The training doors opened. A brigade member stepped in, stopping short at the sight of her. Kai moved instantly. In a breath, the man was pressed against the wall. Sakai's presence overwhelming, lethal without a strike. You do not interrupt, Kai said coldly. Kade stepped between Sarah and the scene. Breathe. Let the power settle. Sarah did, forcing the Sovereign back. The light faded. The man was released, shaken, or where she'd collapsed, blood still streaming from her eyes. 3 princes. Never been beaten. They want her alive. The Devourer sent them specifically for... The wall exploded inward. Stone and dust filled the air. Through the debris stepped something that made Sarah's human mind rebel at the sight. Tall, impossibly beautiful, with skin that shifted between flesh and shadow, wings that dripped acid, eyes that held millennia of cruelty, a demon prince. Vessel. Its voice was silk over razors. The devourer sends greetings. Come willingly and your mates live. Resist and we'll make you watch while we peel their skin off slowly. Kai's response was to shift partially, his demon blood surging forward. Shadows wreathed his arms, claws extending. You want our mate? Come take her. The demon prince smiled. As you wish. It moved faster than sight. Kai met it mid-lunge, and the impact shattered the remaining windows. They crashed through the opening into the courtyard below, a blur of violence and rage. Kai! Sarah lunged forward, but Kade's arm locked around her waist, hauling her back. He can handle one prince. Kade's voice was ice. We have bigger problems. The second prince stepped through the hole in the wall. This one was female, beautiful in the way poisonous things are beautiful. She studied Sarah with hunger that made the sovereign snarl inside her mind. The infamous vessel, you're prettier than I expected. Pity we have to deliver you intact. The princess's smile revealed too many teeth. I would have enjoyed breaking you first. Kade shifted, his demon form emerging fully. He was magnificent and terrible, shadows and blades and predatory grace. You'll die before you touch her. They collided. The suite became a battleground. Furniture exploded, walls cracked. Kade fought with lethal precision, but the demon princess matched him blow for blow. Sarah stood frozen, useless, while her mates fought beings that could kill them. The sovereign's voice filled her mind. Let me out, little wolf. I can end this. I can protect what's ours. You'll consume me, Sarah whispered. Perhaps. Or perhaps you're strong enough to cage me after all. Only one way to find out. The third demon prince materialized behind Sarah. She felt him before she saw him. Wrongness that made her skin crawl. She spun, but he was already there, his hand closing around her throat. Lifting her off the ground. Hello, vessel. This is where you come with... The sovereign erupted. Sarah's consciousness didn't disappear this time. It expanded. She felt the entity surge forward, felt power flood her system, but she remained aware. Present. Watching through her own eyes as her hand shot up and gripped the prince's wrist. Dark energy poured from her transformed leg, through her body, into her hand. The demon prince screamed. His flesh began to dissolve where she touched him, unmaking at a molecular level. He released her throat and tried to pull away, but Sarah's grip, the sovereign's grip, held him fast. You dare touch what belongs to us? The sovereign's voice layered with hers, speaking through her mouth. You dare threaten our mates? The prince's arm disintegrated to the elbow. He shrieked and tore himself free, leaving the destroyed limb behind. Blood that smoked and hissed poured from the stump. Impossible, he gasped. You shouldn't be able to control. Sarah, still conscious, still herself despite the sovereign's power, stepped forward. I don't control it. We share. The prince fled. Sarah spun toward Kade's fight. The demon princess had him pinned, claws descending toward his throat. Power erupted from Sarah's transformed leg again. She didn't run. She moved, faster than she'd ever moved in her life, crossing the distance in a heartbeat. Her hand caught the princess's wrist, inches from Kade's neck. The same dark energy flowed. The princess's hand began to dissolve. No! The princess ripped away, cradling her damaged appendage, her eyes fixed on Sarah with newfound terror. You're merged with it. Truly merged. That's not possible. Apparently it is. Sarah's voice remained layered, the sovereign's ancient power bleeding through. Leave, now, or I unmake you completely. The princess hesitated, glanced at her injured hand, then vanished in a burst of sulfur and smoke. Silence crashed over the ruined suite. Sarah stood there, power still thrumming through her, the sovereign's presence vast in her mind but not consuming, not taking over us. For the first time, Sarah and the sovereign were in complete agreement. Then let's go kill a traitor, she said. The king's eyes blazed with possessive approval. Together they headed toward the medical wing, toward betrayal and violence and answers. But Lyra's earlier vision echoed in Sarah's mind. One of you falls. The question was, which one? The medical wing reeked of blood and betrayal. Dr. Thorne stood in the center of carnage, his form flickering between dimensions, and partially solid and partially ghost. 3 brigade members lay unconscious at his feet, bleeding from wounds that pulsed with dimensional energy. Marcus was pinned to the wall by some invisible force, his crystalline body cracking under the pressure. Lyra huddled in the corner, her sightless eyes streaming fresh blood. Thorne's smile was pleasant, civilized, completely at odds with the violence around him. Ah, the happy family arrives, right on schedule. Kai's claws extended, shadows wreathing his arms. You have 3 seconds to release them before I rip you apart. Temper, Thorne tisked. You need me alive, remember? I'm the only one who knows how to safely extract the sovereign from your precious mate. Sarah's transformed leg throbbed. The sovereign stirred, eager and hungry. He's lying. He can't extract me. But he thinks he can trap me in his own flesh. Bold of you to assume I want the sovereign, Thorne said, his eyes fixing on Sarah. I want something better. The devourer offered me a deal. Deliver the vessel, and it grants me immortality. True immortality, not this half-life phasing existence. Kade moved, fast as thought, his blade aimed for Thorne's throat. Thorne phased, the blade passing through empty air. He reappeared behind Sarah, his hand closing on her shoulder before either king could react. Thorne's grip tightened. Move again, and I phase her halfway. Leave half her body here, half in the void between dimensions. She'll die screaming. Both kings froze, their faces twisting with rage and terror. Good boys! Thorne's other hand moved to Sarah's transformed leg, his fingers tracing the scars where the seal had been. Fascinating. The seal actually broke. The sovereign is awake and you're still conscious. That shouldn't be possible. Let her go. Kai's voice was barely recognizable, more demon than wolf. Take me instead. Use me as your bargaining chip. No. Kade's eyes blazed. Take me. I'm more valuable strategically. The devourer would prefer... Stop. Sarah's command cut through their desperate offers. Power flared through her transformed leg, the sovereign responding to her fury. Both of you stop talking like you're expendable. Thorne's grip tightened. How sweet. The broken Omega thinks she has authority here. The sovereign's laugh echoed in Sarah's mind. He's touching us, our flesh, without permission. Shall we show him what that costs? Not yet, Sarah whispered. Louder to her mates. You're trying to sacrifice yourselves, for me, like I'm worth more than you are. You are, Kai said immediately. You're everything. We're just... mine. The word erupted from Sarah with alpha command she didn't know she possessed. Both kings' eyes widened. You're mine, both of you. I don't choose between you. I don't sacrifice one for the other. I keep you both. Her possessiveness clearly shocked them. Good. They needed to understand. Look at US, Sarah commanded, her voice layered with the sovereign's power. Not at him, not at the threat. At me, your mate, your queen, and I say no one dies. We find another way or we die together. The mate bond flared between them, carrying her absolute conviction. Thorne's hand began to phase, trying to drag Sarah with him. The sovereign erupted. Power exploded from Sarah's transformed leg through her entire body. Thorne screamed as dark energy burned his hand, forcing him to release her and phase fully out of reality. Sarah stumbled forward into Kai's arms. Kade was there instantly, his hand on her back, both of them surrounding her protectively. The merge, Marcus gasped from the wall where he was pinned. It's the only way. 3 consciousnesses, 1 body, combined power strong enough to face the devourer. That's suicide, Lyra whispered. I've seen it. The merge requires a sacrifice, an anchor, someone to hold the door open while it happens. Thorn's laugh echoed from the void between dimensions. Even if you attempt it, you'll fail. The Devourer is already breaking through the final barrier. You have 2 days, maybe 3. Not enough time to prepare a merge that's never been successfully completed. His presence faded completely. Silence crashed over the medical wing. Kai's arms tightened around Sarah. "We're not doing the merge. It's too dangerous. We'll find another way." "There is no other way." Kade's voice was hollow. "Marcus is right. It's the only option." "Then I'll be the anchor." Kai's words were immediate. "I'm older. I've lived a full life. Kade is more strategic, better suited to rule. Sarah needs him more than—" "No." Kade's interruption was sharp. "I'll anchor. You're the warrior, the protector. When this is over, Sarah will need someone who can defend her physically. I'm the expendable one." They were doing it again, arguing over who deserved death. Sarah's fury ignited. "Enough." Both kings fell silent. "We're attempting the merge," Sarah said, her voice steady despite the terror clawing at her chest. "All 3 of us. We survive together or we die together. That's final." "Sarah?" Kai started. "No arguments, no sacrifices, no one plays hero." Her transformed leg throbbed, the sovereign's agreement flowing through her. "We have 2 days. We use them." The next 48 hours blurred into intensity that left Sarah breathless. The kings refused to let her out of their sight. Every moment was spent either preparing for the merge— "Mine," Sarah corrected, her voice fierce. "Forever mine." They'd just finished dressing when Lyra appeared in the doorway. Her sightless eyes were dry for once, no blood tears. Her expression was peaceful in a way Sarah had never seen. "I know what needs to be done," Lyra said quietly. "I've seen it clearly now. The merge needs an anchor. Someone to channel power from outside while holding the 3 of you tethered to reality." "We're not asking you to sacrifice yourself," Kade said immediately. "You're not asking." Lyra's smile was sad and beautiful. "I'm offering. I've seen my death 1,000 times in 1,000 visions. This is the only one where it saves people I love, where it matters. Let me have this. Let me be the hero of my own story." Sarah's throat closed. "Lyra, no. We'll find another way. There is no other way." Lyra crossed to Sarah and took her hands. "I've seen what happens if we don't do this. The Devourer consumes everything, everyone. Our world ends. But if we merge, if I anchor you, we win. You kill the Devourer. You save everyone." Tears burned Sarah's eyes. "I can't lose you. You're my friend, my sister, and you're my family." Lyra's hands squeezed hers. "The only real family I've ever had. Let me protect you one last time." The fortress shook. All of them felt it. Reality tearing, the barrier between worlds shattering. The Devourer was coming through. Kai moved to the window, his face draining of color. "It's here. The final barrier just broke." Kade checked weapons with mechanical precision. His expression shuddered. "We're out of time." Lyra released Sarah's hands and moved to the center of the room, kneeling on the floor. "Then we do this now. The ritual is simple. I channel. You 3 merge. When it's done—" She trailed off, smiled. "When it's done, I'll finally rest." Sarah's tears spilled over. Both kings moved to her sides, their hands settling on her shoulders, holding her while she grieved something that hadn't happened yet. "We're here," Kai murmured. "Always here." "You're not alone in this," Kade added, his voice rough with suppressed emotion. "We feel it too. The loss, the price." Lyra began chanting in a language older than civilization. Power flooded the room, raising the hair on Sarah's arms. The mate bond between her and the kings blazed brighter, reaching for each other, preparing to merge. "Together," Kai said, his hand finding Sarah's. "Always together," Kade agreed, his hand covering both of theirs. Sarah looked at her mates, these violent, possessive, beautiful kings who'd claimed her, loved her, refused to let her go. Then at Lyra, who was sacrificing everything so they could survive. The Sovereign stirred, not fighting, but waiting, ready. "Together," Sarah whispered. The merge began. 3 consciousnesses slammed together with apocalyptic force. Sarah felt herself dissolving, her identity bleeding into theirs into hers. Kai's warrior strength, Kade's strategic brilliance, her own stubborn refusal to break, all merging into something new. The Sovereign rose to meet them, not consuming but joining, adding its ancient power to their combined will. Lyra's scream cut through the chaos as the anchoring ritual consumed her life force, holding them tethered while they merged. Pain, power, love, loss, all of it crashing together in a wave that threatened to drown them. Then, suddenly, clarity. 3 had become 1. The merged entity opened eyes that glowed with divine power, and looked down at hands that shifted between Sarah's, Kai's, and Kade's. Lyra lay on the floor, barely breathing, her purpose fulfilled. The merged being knelt beside her, cradled her gently. "Thank you, sister. We'll make your sacrifice matter." Lyra smiled. "I know. I saw it. You win. You save everyone. Now go. He's waiting." She took one final breath and went still. The merged entity stood, power thrumming through every cell. Outside, the Devourer's roar shook the world. Together, 3 voices spoke in perfect unison. Always together. The entity that was Sarah and Kai and Kade and the Sovereign stepped through the window, ready to kill a god. The merged entity stood at the edge of reality, looking out at devastation. 3 souls occupied one body, sharing thoughts, sharing sensation, sharing everything. So Sarah felt Kai's warrior instincts calculating attack patterns, felt Kade's strategic mind mapping battlefield advantages, and beneath it all, the Sovereign's ancient hunger for violence. But stronger than all of that was love. Kai's obsessive devotion flooded through the merge, his need to protect so fierce it burned. Kade's consuming desire wrapped around them, possessive and absolute. And Sarah's own love for them both, her acceptance of their darkness, her matching claim on their souls. "This is what we are together," 3 voices thought as one. Perfect, powerful, ours. The Devourer rose before them, blotting out the sky. It was massive beyond comprehension, a being of pure void and hunger that consumed light itself. Where it touched the ground, reality died. Trees withered to ash, stone crumbled to nothing. The very air screamed as it was devoured. "Vessel!" The Devourer's voice was the sound of civilization's ending. "You dare stand against me? You are nothing, insects, meat to feed my endless hunger." The merged entity smiled with Sarah's mouth, moved with Kai's predatory grace, spoke with Kade's cold precision. "We are 3. We are 1. We are what kills you." They attacked. The fight transcended normal combat, the merged being moved through dimensions, phasing like Thorn had but with perfect control. Sarah's consciousness guided their movement, while Kai's instincts drove their attacks, and Kade's strategy identified weaknesses. The Sovereign's power flowed through them, dark energy that could unmake reality itself. They struck the Devourer's flank, their hand passing through its void flesh, dissolving it from within. The god screamed, the sound shattering what remained of the fortress below. "Impossible! You are mortal, finite, I am eternal." "You're alone." 3 voices spoke in unison. "We're together, that's the difference." The Devourer lashed out, tendrils of void wrapping around the merged entity, trying to consume them. Pain exploded through their shared consciousness as the Devourer's hunger tried to devour their very souls. But the mate bond held them together. Sarah felt Kai's strength reinforcing her, felt Kade's will protecting them. Their love became armor, shielding them from the Devourer's assault. "Love." The Devourer's laugh was contemptuous. "Love makes you weak. Love is attachment. Attachment is vulnerability." The merged being ripped free of the tendrils, dark energy burning away the void flesh. "Love makes us unstoppable." They dove back into combat, and this time they weren't defending, they were hunting. Sarah's consciousness led them through the Devourer's attacks, predicting patterns no single mind could track. Kai's warrior instincts knew exactly where to strike for maximum damage. Kade's strategic brilliance identified the god's core, the central point where all its power concentrated, and the sovereign provided the weapon to kill it. The merged entity phased directly into the Devourer's center, manifesting inside the god itself. Power erupted from their transformed leg, Sarah's leg, the one that had been broken and sealed and made her a lifetime of pain. Dark energy exploded outward, unmaking the Devourer from the inside. The god screamed. Reality itself trembled. No, I have consumed worlds. It devoured civilizations. I am eternal. I cannot. You can. The merged being's voice was absolute. We are three. We are one. We are eternal. They drove deeper, the sovereign's power flowing through them in waves that dissolved the Devourer's essence. Sarah felt the god trying to consume them in return, trying to drag them down into oblivion. A memory surfaced, standing alone at the mating ball, waiting to die, believing she was worthless because of her broken leg. That broken leg had brought her to them, had led to this moment, had made her strong enough to cage a god and wield its power. She'd choose this life every time. The pain, the fear, the broken seal, all of it, because it gave her them. I love you, Sarah's consciousness whispered through the merge. Both of you. Forever. Kai's fierce devotion blazed brighter, Kade's possessive need wrapped tighter. We love you, they answered as one, our mate, our queen, our everything. The mate bond flared with their combined emotion, and that love became the killing blow. Power and love merged, became indistinguishable. The Devourer tried to consume it, but love couldn't be devoured. It couldn't be unmade. It could only grow stronger. The god shattered. Reality snapped back into place as the Devourer dissolved, its essence scattered across dimensions where it could never reform. The merged entity hung in the void where the god had been, power still thrumming through them. Then the separation began. Terror crashed through their shared consciousness. Would they lose each other? Would the merge have changed them so fundamentally they couldn't exist as individuals anymore? Three souls that had become one started pulling apart. Sarah felt Kai and Kade slipping away, their thoughts becoming separate from hers. Panic surged. She reached for them desperately through the bond, trying to hold on. Don't leave me, she thought desperately. Please don't leave me. Never, Kai's consciousness promised even as it separated. Always together, Kade's thoughts echoed, growing distant. The sovereign receded last, settling back into dormancy in Sarah's transformed leg, but its presence felt different now. Not a parasite or prisoner, but a partner, an agreement made in blood and battle. We work well together, little wolf. I'll sleep now, but when you need me, I'll be here. This flesh is ours to share. Then Sarah was falling, reality reforming around her, three souls becoming three bodies again. She hit solid ground and gasped, her lungs burning, her transformed leg throbbing with residual power. Hands grabbed her immediately. Familiar hands. Beloved hands. Sarah! Kai's voice cracked with desperation. His arms crushed her against his chest. Please, please be alive. Please be you. Here. Sarah's voice was hoarse but her own. I'm here. I'm me. Kade's hands framed her face, tilting her head back, his eyes wild as he searched hers. You're really still you? We didn't lose you to the merge? Sarah's answer was to kiss him, desperate and claiming. Then she turned and kissed Kai with the same fierce possession. All three of them collapsed into each other, hands everywhere, touching and confirming, claiming. Never again, Kai growled against her throat. Never separate like that again. Never apart. I thought we'd lost each other, Kade's voice shook. Thought the merge would make us one permanently, that we'd never be individuals again. We're here, Sarah's hands gripped both of them. All of us, separate but connected, together but whole. The mate bond pulsed between them, stronger than before, deeper. They could still feel each other's emotions, still share thoughts if they concentrated. The merge had left permanent marks on their souls, but they were themselves, three, not one. "I love you both," Sarah whispered. "Forever. Always. Our mate, our queen, our heart." The two kings chorused. They held each other while reality settled around them. The devourer was gone. The threat ended. But the cost lay heavy on all their hearts. Lyra. They found her body in the ruins of the fortress, still kneeling where she'd anchored the merge, her sightless eyes closed peacefully. Sarah broke, sobbing against Kai's chest while Kade held them both. Her friend, her sister, gone. "She chose this," Kai murmured, his own voice thick. "She saw her death 1,000 times and chose this one because it saved you, saved us all. We honor her sacrifice," Kade added quietly. "We live the lives she died to protect. We make it mean something." They buried Lyra at dawn, the three of them together, speaking words of love and loss and gratitude. The brigade attended, silent and grieving. Marcus's crystalline tears caught the sunlight. The others bowed their heads in respect. But life demanded they move forward. 3 weeks later, Sarah stood in the throne room wearing silk and power in equal measure. The court had gathered for the first official audience since the Devourer's defeat. Nobles and warriors and representatives from territories across the empire all come to see the new ruling triad. Kai and Kade sat on their thrones, powerful and regal, but between them sat a third throne, newly commissioned, where Sarah belonged. Their mate, their queen, their equal. Kade's arm draped possessively over the side of her throne, his fingers stroking her wrist. Kai's hand rested on her knee, casual but claiming. Any male who looked at Sarah too long received death glares from both kings. A noble stepped forward to present a petition, his eyes lingering on Sarah's transformed leg, visible beneath her gown's slit. Kai's growl was audible. Eyes on the floor unless you want to lose them." The noble paled and dropped his gaze immediately. Sarah hid her smile. Her kings were absurdly possessive in public, staking their claim for everyone to see. She loved it. Later, she addressed new brigade recruits in the training grounds, the kings flanking her protectively. Young wolves with disabilities, scars, trauma, all the things society deemed unworthy. They stared at Sarah with a mixture of hope and fear. "They call us broken," Sarah said, her transformed leg on full display. "They call us defective, worthless, weak. They're wrong." She let power flare briefly, the sovereign's energy making her eyes glow. "Broken things are dangerous. Broken things have already survived what should have killed them. Broken things know how to endure, to adapt, to become stronger at the broken places." Her hand found Kai's, then Kade's. "And when broken things are loved, when they're claimed and protected and valued despite their flaws, they become unstoppable." The recruits straightened, hope kindling in their eyes. "Welcome to the Broken Brigade," Sarah continued. "We don't fix what's broken. We weaponize it. We prove that our scars make us strong, and we show the world what happens when the outcasts become the apex predators." Cheers erupted. The king's hands tightened on hers, pride and possession flowing through the bond. "We call us unstoppable," the kings answered. Outside, the empire was rebuilding, the beneath was sealed, the threat ended. And in this room, 3 broken things had found wholeness in each other, love in darkness, power in brokenness, eternity in each other's arms, 3 souls, 1 bond, forever. If you watch from the beginning to this end, you are my true subscribers, and I believed you are enjoying Moonshadow tales. But if you're new here, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It will really help this channel. Subscription is free. See you next week.